Men who like to keep their morning routine simple will love these multi-for-him gummies, specially formulated with 12 key nutrients designed to support men's daily nutritional needs. Nature-made multi-for-him gummies help support muscle and bone health. It improves your immune health, and it increases your energy metabolism. With the quality you can trust, nature-made multi-for-him gummies have no artificial flavors, no synthetic dyes, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial sweeteners, and is gluten-free. Pharmacists around the world have recommended Nature Made to be the #1 vitamin and supplement brand. So when you need something that's going to help you get you through the day, when you need something that's going to increase your energy to help you get you through that workout, to make you perform as an elite athlete at the top of your ability, try Nature Made Multi-for-Him gummies, because you don't want to stop.
To the 12th round.
Hey yo, welcome to the Terror Dome. You should be heading home, cause you could bring all of your ninjas and the Technodrome. I rip right through your flesh and bone and mental capacity. Flood your mind with atrocities and copious tragedies. This dark Sabbath is a lesson in street. The whole church of the ghetto feel the words when I preach. Amen. Let the Lord say a prayer if they don't end up in front of someone banging their trigger. Living life like a war pig. Fuck the law, I'm getting mine. Let the others figure what the cost is. Purchasing the fortress so gorgeous, acres enormous. Car park full of foreigners and women just waiting on us. We living the dream. Y'all living like hell is earthbound. We are not the same. You've been a lame since first, pal. I don't feel sorry. I recommend they go dirt bound. Doggy dog world, and you've been looking like Chuck Brown.
Well, beautiful people, best damn nation. It is Wednesday, and you know what time it is. It is the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast. I am your humble host, Brian Renegade, and with me, we have the best damn crew. First of all, if you see this man at night in a dark alley, run. He will beat you up in front of your girlfriend and throw your ass in the trash can. He is the green-eyed bandit. He fights people. Sometimes he bites people. He's your mama's favorite wrestler, and he can whoop your daddy ass, the one and only Roosevelt. What's happening?
What's going on? Listen, I keep telling y'all people every week. Y'all need to go and join my TikTok, okay? I got a video up there where I punched through 5 boards, okay?
5 boards.
I'm out here looking dangerous, bro. Dangerous. So mean.
Oh, man.
What's going on, Brian? Hey, we got another part of the Best Damn crew right here. Go ahead and introduce our esteemed partner in crime over there.
Oh, man, you see him. He is an entrepreneur. He is a businessman. He is a commentator. He is what do you call a sports aficionado when it comes to wrestling. Your grandmother loves him. Your auntie loves him. He is the Rain Man, Christian Rainey. What's happening?
Nope, can't hear you, Christian. You got something going on with your
God. Oh, God. I was talking to myself for so long. You're looking great. Roosevelt looking great. Alex, $1 million all the time. And I'm not just talking about your bank statement. You're looking great.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Well, Rain Man, since you already mentioned our esteemed guest, man, I'm going to let you do the honors and introduce The
Oh,
one and only.
you want me to
Thanks.
introduce new breed Alex Evans? That's who you want me to introduce right now?
That's who I want you to introduce right now.
Oh, I mean, we're talking trained by Bobby Fish, Alex Evans. We're talking about trained by Cozy over there at Firestar, Alex Evans. We're talking about one half of Brutality Inc. We're talking about 1/3 of The Process with Jackson Drake and Mark James. We're talking about former DCW champion, tag team of the year in DCW, by the way, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Brutality Inc. We're talking about UPW one half of the UPW tag team champion, Alex Evans, who's well over. Are we at 2 years now?
Not quite.
Close?
Year and a half. Yeah, we're close.
Year and a half. They're gonna get there. It's fine. Are we talking about the same Alex Evans that has a win over Rhino? Over Heath? Over Suicide? The man they call Suicide?
Tommy Dreamer too.
Oh, we're talking about Tommy Dreamer. Oh my! How could I forget the Innovator of Violence, Tommy Dreamer, that Alex Evans has a win over? That's crazy. That's crazy. We're talking about the MBW inaugural New Breed champion, New Breed Alex Evans. The man so hated that he's now cheered.
I believe that is the Alex Evans that we are talking about, sir.
What a guest, Brian. Honestly. What a get for you. This is fantastic.
Hey, listen, man, I'm excited.
You know, I saw this on social media, and what message did I send you? I said, put me in, coach. I said, put me in, because Alex Evans, he's that guy. If you don't know who Alex Evans is, well, I mean, you're about to learn right here in the Best Damn Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Alex, man, what's happening, my brother?
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Pleasure's all mine. And I am honored to join this esteemed panel this evening and talk some wrestling and talk some life. So thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, we appreciate you being here, man. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us, and we love you for that, man. You are officially part of the crew.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing cracked off, man. I ask this question to everybody, and it's always different every time I ask it. But I want to know from the one and only Alex Evans, when did you fall in love with wrestling?
I was in upstate New York, and I used to live in a duplex. It was like a side-by-side duplex. It was like a top and bottom. So myself, my brother, my mom and dad, we lived upstairs, and then my cousins and aunt and uncle lived downstairs. And my cousin was much older than not much older, I don't know, like maybe 10 years older than me or whatnot. And he was a big wrestling fan. And I'll never forget it. I just remember it was like a random Saturday night, and he snuck upstairs. You know, it's not like knocking on the door, and I opened it, and he was just like, Saturday night's main event is on. You have to come watch this. You have to come see this. So he snuck me downstairs, and I watched Saturday night's main event for the first time. It was the first time I saw wrestling, and then it was all over after that. It was just, you say, oh, you're a fan of this and, wrestling, and you usually grow out of it. No, I never grew out of it, and now I'm a part of this awesome, great business and sport. So that's where I started.
Oh man, absolutely. When you started to train, did you start looking for someone to train you? How did this whole story of you getting into wrestling start?
So when I had gotten out of high school, I was working for a company. I was actually a licensed loan officer for a mortgage company. And we were like on break, and we would work, 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 p.m. at night or whatever it was. And we were on break and, outside eating with a friend of mine who was a professional MMA fighter. And we were walking back upstairs, and there was like the cleaning crew was there, like cleaning the building, like tidying up after hours and stuff. And he goes, do you know who that is? I was like, no, we were both fans of wrestling. And there was a local indie wrestler who's been around the scene for a while. He's like, that's Chip Stetson. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, dude, we always talk about wrestling and stuff. He's like, you might know somebody in the area because he was from 20 minutes away from where he was. You might know someone in the area that might be able to get you into like a school somewhere around here, so you can start training. I was like, all right, well, I just walked up to him and told him how I found out who he was through my friend and introduced myself. And I just dropped the line. I was just like, you know anywhere around here that there's any good trainers at a school where you can train? And he was like, well, yeah. And I'm from Albany, New York, which is the capital, upstate New York.
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, there's this guy named Bobby Fish that's in Hudson Falls, which was maybe like an hour away from where I live. He goes, I'll give you his number. I talk to him all the time. I go, he trains at this school with another individual named JP Blackwood. Just give him a call, ask him, see what do you got to lose. So I think it was like a day or two later, I called Bobby and he explained to me what they were doing up. We called the Do or Die Academy in Hudson Falls, New York. So he explained to me what they were doing up there and explained the facility. He said, if you want to come and check it out and try out, you just come up, we'll be there this Saturday, come up and give it a go. So me and one of my best friends who were really big into wrestling, we just went, well, let's go. So we did it that one day, and rest is history until I moved out of New York. So, I trained with them for about almost 2 years.
Bobby Fish is one of those guys that if you step in a ring with him, you're guaranteed to know that you've been in a fight. Talk about what it's like to train with him and the different things that he took you through in terms of his background.
Oh, man. So at the time, this was Bobby got very big into mixed martial arts as well, a little bit more recently, like within the last 10 years. But at the time, when I was introduced to Bobby, he was going back and forth between the states, and he was working for Pro Wrestling Noah at the time as well. So he'd go over there for a tour for like a month or two and then come back for months and then go back. So training with Bobby was no joke. And Bobby being trained by, Hardy Race and Tony DeVito, he was taking a lot from so many different areas, whether it was from Hardy, Tony DeVito, or even when he was training at the dojo and Noah and bringing that back. And that's how he taught, us. It was exactly how he was taught, whether it was from Harley, Tony DeVito, or what he was learning over at the dojo. It was extremely strenuous. At the end of the day, nothing that we do is easy for any, right? As professional wrestlers, there's nothing easy about doing this. But taking it from Bobby and the way he was teaching, it was either, listen, you got to strive to survive, and you got to be on top of your game, and you have to give it 150%, not 100, because even 99 or 100 might not be in. You have to do it at 150%. That is just what he instilled in us. He said, if you want to make it, you have to do this, this, and that. If you deviate or stray a little bit from, what he was trying to teach us, he couldn't help you at that point. He was laying the groundwork. If you listened to it and you did it, you were going to be successful. You were going to know how to work properly and safely, right? Other than that, don't bother. But he did. It was definitely an amazing learning experience being able to learn and be trained by Bobby for the couple.
Absolutely. Can you do me a favor real quick? I just need you to adjust your device so we can hear you just a little bit more clearly.
How about that?
There you go.
Alex, I know you got a pair of AirPods hanging out somewhere nearby.
I'm an Android guy, brother. I don't do it.
Oh, God. This actually explains so much about you.
Hey, wait a minute.
Every critique I have about you just got confirmed. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, he drives alone. He doesn't like people riding.
Not true. It's not true.
Oh, man. Well, I got a question for you, man. How did you link up with Mark James?
I started training at Firestar Pro Wrestling in Greensboro, North Carolina, in December of 21. And then maybe like 5-6 months later, I was helping out at a show that they were having. I was like, working security. I had full training, no matches or anything like that yet. But, Cozy would say, hey, I need some assistance for the show. Can you help? Blah, blah. So you always get your name out there. And I was working security for Fireside show one time. And Mark was on the show. And I want to say he was working more than God.
Oh, poor kid.
It wasn't good. Mark, lost that match, which is bullshit. But anyways, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, so that's when I first saw Mark, and then I think like a month later, I didn't converse with him or anything. I just, I was on the other side of the guardrail. I watched him work, and then I think like a month later, I showed up to another show, and I'm walking in the entrance, and Mark was kind of on the side talking to. LeBron, and it was just kind of like hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, type deal. And then when I really got a chance to sit down and talk to Mark, it was actually Roosevelt was there too. I was asked to be a part of a movie that was being filmed at Firestar. Roosevelt, remember that movie, the wrestling movie?
Yes, I remember that one.
And Mark was in it as well. And it was like in between takes, so like we weren't being needed at the time. So I know like Mark was just literally like sitting in the ring talking with Roosevelt, and then he had gotten out and sat next to me, and we just started talking. Mark and I just introduced ourselves and got to talk to each other a little bit more. And then I think I'd seen him like at training maybe like a week or two later, and then randomly. I got a text message from Mark. We exchanged numbers, but he randomly just texted me, and he was just like, "Hey, man, like I'm trying to put something together." Like he was trying to put together a faction at the time. Like LeBron had told him, like, "Hey, man, get a group of like 3 or 4 guys together, and let's see what we can do with it." So there was 3 or 4 of us that were involved in the beginning, and Mark reached out to me personally on his own, and I was just like, "You want me to work with you? Like what? Like you don't know me from Adam. I've known you, for a couple months. Like absolutely, I'd love to sign me up." And eventually, like there's other members that were supposed to be involved, but they kind of like fell off, and Mark was just like, "Shit, let's just do it, me and you." And the rest is
For my own enjoyment, because I'm just curious this way, who were the other guys like in mind for that?
If I recall correctly, it was Mark, myself, I think Jamal the Titan,
Yeah.
other one, and Don Petty was the other one.
Huh.
Um,
Wow, that's fun.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just we couldn't get on the same page, or it was communication, or scheduling, whatever it was. And then Mark was just like, "Yeah, well, you know what? We'll just do it, me and you. Let's just work as a tag team." And that was it. That was almost 3 years ago.
So if I can piggyback off your story a little bit, because I feel like I have this weird early Alex Evans, Mark James insight. So when me and Daniel were doing Good Guy Bad Pants and we were doing Live Laugh Lariat, very early on we interviewed Roosevelt very early on, because I had a pseudo relationship with him from when he kicked my ass trying to train me, and it like broke my everything. I don't want to hear it from you. Your hands are up, but they need to go down. Okay. So anyway, so through that, we got to talk to Mark, and we hit it off with Mark instantly. And Mark, like, as you know, Alex, but to fill y'all in, we're in this group chat and we talk every single day. But at the time we finished our interview with Mark, and Mark was like, "Hey, I have a guy y'all should talk to. Like, I would love for y'all to talk to this guy." And we're like, "Who do you want us to talk to?" Like, we're talking to so many people. Who do you want us to talk to? And he talked about Alex. And admittedly, I was like, I think I'm okay, actually. I don't want to talk to a Firestar kid. But so it took some time, and we eventually made it out to a Firestar show and got to know Alex. And I think the first match we saw Alex be part of, it was this you and what was his name, like Kano or this big old Batista-esque guy who, like, great physique, great look, and they had a match that Mark was the special guest ref for. But this was like introduction to Alex, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Alex is kind of something here. And over time, it was this thing of being like, oh, the thing that always like was so interesting about Alex very early on for me and why I got latched in instantly is, I don't know if you know this, and I can't wait for y'all to do this later in this program, but I think Alex is the best promo in the Carolinas. Like, I truly, like, that's my opinion. You know, Christian's opinion, promoter of newborn wrestling. That's my opinion. No, that's just me. But the big thing about that is, like, Mark saw something in Alex so freaking early. So early, he saw something that, like, I feel like people were just catching up to now. Because Alex, like, you can have 1,000 opinions, but great wrestler, great promo, but he works harder than anybody in the room. And I think Mark, being who Mark is, saw that and just respected the hell out of that and just wanted to give him a platform for other people to see that. So I think it's really wonderful that y'all are giving him this platform right now, because though it's not 3 years ago, there's no one who deserves platforms like these more. And I just think it's wonderful that he's getting this platform now. So that's my little history insight into Alex Evans.
Absolutely. Talk about your transitions. Like, what did you do any type of sports before you got into professional wrestling?
Yeah. Actually, I did a lot of training.
Adjust your phone again. A little. Still can't hear you too much.
I think your mic there at the bottom is like whatever platform it's on. It's kind of like eating it.
No, it's horizontal, so there's nothing blocking.
Huh. You see, I'm not saying y'all should run to the Apple store real quick, but I'm definitely not saying that.
Do you have a case on your device?
Maybe give it a quick blow, like just get all that dust on out of there.
Right,
I know you're a busy guy, so you're not on your phone very much. So, like, I have no idea what's gathering in there.
It's a game. Blow on it.
Oh, that's better, right? Is that better? Maybe. Talk about your former sports career, Alex. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Before wrestling, I'd actually I started training in boxing. And from boxing, I did a lot of Muay Thai kickboxing training and mixed martial arts training. And had a couple amateur fights back in upstate New York. I wrestled when I was younger too, from like 3rd grade to 9th grade. I did amateur high school wrestling. So I did that too. So, I was more, when it came to sports, like, which is weird to say because I'm in a tag team now most of the time. But like team sports and stuff like that, like football, basketball, baseball, I never wanted to depend on somebody else for what the outcome was going to be, if that makes sense, right? Like, I could be playing on a basketball team, I could put up 40 points, and the rest of my team puts up 15. We're going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. I'm playing baseball, I can hit 3 home runs and have 6 ribbies, and then everyone else goes hitless, or we're straight out of luck. You know what I mean? So I always liked the stuff where I had control of my own outcome. You know what I mean? Like, whether it be boxing, mixed martial arts, like, I'm either going to train really hard and I'm going to whoop this guy's ass and I'm going to win, and that's on me, right? Or I'm going to fall flat and this guy's going to whoop my ass I have no one else to blame outside of myself, right? So I'll learn from it. So I tended to stay more towards the sports and athletics where it wasn't so much team based and oriented. It was just more about me. But that's where my sport got me.
How much of your combat experience is put into your actual move set?
Good chunk, man. Like a good chunk. Like I feel it is tough too, right? Because like when you're boxing or you're doing mixed martial arts, like you're swinging for the fences, right? Like you're trying to take someone's head off with precision. Well, now you got to make this transition to professional wrestling, right? Where you have to make it look like you're taking someone's head off without taking their head off and keeping them safe at the same time, but making it believable, right? So that wasn't, I don't want to say that was tough or hard for me because I remember like even the first time I had started training with Cozy, the first time I ever showed up to Firestar and Cozy knew I had trained previously. I remember I walked into the class, there's class going on and he's like, well, let's go talk in my office for a little bit. We went and talked in his office for a little bit. He's like, all right, let's go. He's just like, get into the room. And he's just like, let's roll. You know what I mean? Let's work. Let's train. Let's wrestle. And we just wrestled for like 10 minutes straight. Strikes, grapple, chaining, everything. And, it was all said and done. And, he pinned me with something. And I just remember I was just, I just got pinned, right? So I'm just laying down on the mat. And he kind of just leans over me and he just gave me a hug. And like while I'm still laying down there on the canvas, he's just like, you're good. You're good. Like you can train here. But he was saying how he's like, man, you got the Bret Hart punches. Something that was good for me. But I was sitting there like lighting them up, but like I wasn't hitting them, but like it sounded like I was. I was, throwing some decent strikes. He's like fucking Bret Hart punches. So for me to be able to make that transition and not knock someone's teeth out, to me was a win in my book, and I'm very grateful and thankful for it.
Hey, Alex, can you talk to me about, to anyone who might not be aware of, your opinion on Bret Hart? Maybe where he falls in the echelon of history, and how do you feel about Bret Hart?
I mean, to me, it wasn't just a gimmick, but Bret Hart to me is the greatest technical wrestler of all time. The things he could do, just the way he would move, and the way.
We lost the audio.
If you, Alex, jump back like 10 seconds for me. Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Turn your audio away.
Tap the mute and unmute for me. Try talking.
There you
Okay,
go.
you're back. So just jump back like 2 or 3 sentences.
Bret to me is the greatest technical wrestler that there really was. And I always tell people, I remember saying this to Christian when I was interviewed for this podcast, show someone professional wrestling, or you want to show someone a really, really good wrestling match, the thing that I always tell people to watch is.
Oh, you lost your audio again.
All right. So, real quick, Alex, if you could do us a favor, log out and then come back in, and we'll be back with some strong audio from the one and only Alex Evans. Man. So the question that you asked about Bret Hart, right? Mm-hmm. I like Bret Hart.
Oh, Brian, don't break my heart right now.
I'm about to break your heart.
You're gearing up to break. I see that look in your eye. Do you know how many people have looked me in the eye and started to talk like you're talking?
I'm about to break your heart and your legs. I wasn't the biggest Bret Hart fan.
Were you a Sean guy?
I was a Sean guy.
Okay,
but I didn't get really technical in wrestling until I started watching a little bit of WCW. Fair. And I started watching Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho and Hoobie too, like some of these other guys, man, that were really, really good and really technical in what they did. Personally, I think that Kurt Angle and dare I say Chris Benoit are probably
That's
the two
okay.
most technical people. But I know you can't really say Chris Benoit's name. It's almost like the Boogeyman, Baba Yaga. You can't really say his name like that. But he was he was definitely one of the greatest technical wrestlers that made you believe everything that he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So although I do like Brett he's a little salty, man. I don't know.
Dude,
he got this
if you
huge.
were the best and truly the best in the world and debatably the greatest of all time at your particular profession, and a guy kicks your head in and you could no longer do it because he wasn't properly trained, you'd be a little salty too.
Hey, man, it's wrestling. It happens. You guys are professionals.
Up until that point, was Bret Hart ever injured a single day in professional wrestling? No, because he was the best to ever do it.
No, we can't say that because we don't know what injuries he was fighting through. And probably didn't tell nobody. That was a different era back then. What he
and the Hart family has documented, and this isn't just Bret, is because Bret was the safest worker and he took care of guys and he knew how to take everything. He never was hurt until that.
Was he really the safest worker? Because to be honest with you, I think that Owen Hart was better than Bret Hart. Maybe I'm into my
Owen Hart was more charismatic. I enjoy Owen Hart more than Bret Hart, but Owen was limited in ways that Bret could do anything. Bret could do anything you wanted to do. And it could convince you into that it was real. Owen had the better character, like the whole Blackheart thing. That's interesting. Nation of Domination. Owen Hart, that's interesting. Bret as a character could only go so far, but he was so great as a wrestler that you believed at any point he could challenge for the heavyweight title. Owen, you could believe at any point he could challenge for the Intercontinental title, and that's the difference. With the right story, Owen could be the guy, but he needed the story. Bret didn't need the story. You believe Bret at all times because he felt like everything about Bret felt real in a sport where maybe not everything feels real.
Yeah, I think that's how I felt when I started watching some matches from Alex Evans, man. Everything that you did, every movement, I believe it hurt. I don't know why you're really good at what you do, man. So hats off to you. Did we got you back?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh, you sound like $1 million.
So much better. All right.
Look at you.
There we go.
So I'm just curious, Alex, given the big Bret Hart fan you are, because you always act like you're going to do this and you talk it up. When are we going to get that sharpshooter?
It's coming. It's coming. You gotta, listen, you can't pull out your whole arsenal every time. You gotta leave something in the bag. But it's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Are you going to modify it a little bit, or are you going to keep it like traditional?
I might tweak it a little bit. I mean, you don't. If it ain't fixed, if it ain't broke, you don't. You leave it as it is. But I'm not saying a little minor modification might not be thrown into the mix either.
Do you have a name for it?
Not yet. Not yet.
Is the brutalizer taken already?
No. Oh, you might have just come up with something, but yeah, no, it's not. I ain't taken yet. Maybe.
Who's to say?
Yeah, I like it.
For you, Alex. What are your thoughts on the pancrase style? Have you had an opportunity to fight in that type of environment?
No, I haven't had the opportunity to fight that particular style, but I do remember I would go back and watch a lot of pancrase matches with like Bass Rutten and even like Ken Shamrock back in the day too, and that was always very interesting to me. It's definitely something that I would welcome and want to dabble in too, because it's a pure form of the sport. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that intrigues me. It's definitely something that I would love to throw my hat into that ring at some point down the way too.
I think because of your background and the people that you've trained with, you would do really well with it. The main thing is getting into the ring with the right person
Oh,
that can actually go with
That was
you
a weird smirk you just gave.
and,
What does that smirk mean?
and make it all work, So
yeah. Hey, listen, Roosevelt's on my bucket list, man. So listen, if that's my way in, if that's how it has to go down, I know a promoter that might be in this podcast that might be,
we
that might.
know some people, don't we? We
Yeah, we
God.
know some people.
God, Brian, I am so happy to hear about your new promotion. God, that's wonderful to hear.
Well, while you're at it, I do have something in the works, but listen, I think this is a great time to go ahead into it, man, because I'm actually interested in this, and I think that you guys will put on one hell of a battle, Alex Evans versus Roosevelt, man, and I think that the story and everything behind it, and the brutality and the physicality can be off the charts with this one. So, shit, let's go ahead and get into it, man. We got a segment that we call Best Damn Promos, man. And Alex Evans, I want you to cut a scathing promo against the one and only Roosevelt. You guys have a big fight, and he might be one of the many challengers to your crown, sir. You know what I'm saying?
Hypothetically say
hypothetically.
Let's hypothetically say in, let's say, hypothetical month, May, like maybe there was a title defense. I mean, if you can defend it against Alexander Moss, of course. Let's play with that hypothetical. Alex, I understand if you need to go run headfirst into a wall first, because as you know,
no,
Alex
they don't know. See, they don't know. You got to explain that now.
Okay,
you can't just say that.
So the greatest promo I've ever witnessed live is from Alex Evans. It was after he fell about 10 feet off a ladder, hit his head against the ground, was the most concussed I've ever seen a man. He handed me his cell phone. He got in front of a camera. He cut this ridiculous promo that I'm sure we could find somewhere. And after the promo was done, Alex looked at me as though there was no light in his eyes and was like, "Where's my phone? I need to call my son." And he's like, "Where's my phone? Where's my phone?" I have his phone. I'm like, here. But it was the greatest promo I've ever seen. So the ongoing joke with us, and he has never proven me wrong on this, that his best work comes when he is, in fact, concussed. So, Alex, if you need to take the moment
and that
to
wasn't
run
just
your head.
It happened again. That was 2 times where I was all messed up from a match. And I went back there and I had to cut a promo. And everyone was just like, "Man, that promo was so fire, blah, blah, blah. That was a great promo." Blah. Tell me about it, because I don't remember shit about what I just said. You guys got to tell me what the hell I just said. That would made it so good. But yeah, what Kristen was saying, it was a TLC match, and I was laid out on a door that was bridged from the guardrail to the ring apron, and there was another wrestler that jumped off the top rope from the outside, and splashed me through the door. And it was just the way my head was positioned and the way these doors were. I was fully anticipating that when he hit that door was going to break like this, and I didn't think it was going to tickle, but I didn't think it was going to do what it did. That was not the case. The door did not break like that. It just literally imploded. So it just went straight down, and this was it was a big gymnasium, and it was parquet wood basketball, floors. My head just smacked off of that floor, and it just sounded like the teacher from Charlie Brown, right? I remember a couple of refs. Yeah, I just remember a couple of the refs came over and just like, "Are you okay? Yeah, are you okay? Are you good?" And I looked at them, and they were just like, "Nope, you're not good. You are not okay." And then I went back and cut these amazing promos, apparently. So,
all right. Well, let's have Roosevelt start first, so he can throw a couple of jabs at you, and maybe we can get that same concussed promo from you. Roosevelt, you starting first. Beautiful people, prepare yourself. We are going to war.
You know, life is all about perspective. Let me give you an example. Listen to these words. Alex, Alex, Alex. Now, to the untrained ear, with someone who may be concussed, may think that the fans are chanting his name because he's done something amazing. But in reality, that's someone trying to wake you up after you've been knocked out by the man who likes to fight. Because Alex, you see, the issue that you have in front of you is that you have a background that I'm very much invested in. You have a background that I'm very much interested in. You have a background that I love being a part of. Alex, when you and I step in the ring, make no mistake at all. It will be a fight that they will talk for ages. But the biggest thing that they're going to say is that Alex got knocked out by the name of Roosevelt, the man who likes to fight.
Ooh, do some jabs. Well, you know what I'm saying? Right cross. Oh, man. Hit you with a couple body shots. Alex Evans, what you got?
Roosevelt. Mr. Roosevelt, I have watched and seen you ever since that I came onto the scene in this great sport of professional wrestling. It's been everywhere. You've done everything. You've been on the TV screen that everyone hopes and wishes they can be on. I'm not going to take that away from you. I commend you for your grind and what you've been able to do. I've heard what you said. You love my background. You love where I come from. You love what I'm about. Except you spelled it all wrong. You loved my background. You loved where I came from. You loved what I do, because after you and I get into that ring and fight each other, you're not going to love anything about my background, because it's what you loved that took you out. It's what you loved that led you down the wrong path. That path led you directly to Alex Evans. And I've seen everything that you do online, Roosevelt. You really put your hand right through those boards. A wise man once said, boards don't hit back. Alex Evans, I hit back. And every single time I hit, it is absolutely brutal. And we will find out who is going to have that hand raised when you and I step into that ring and fight.
Look that shit right now. Ooh, listen, I got $20 on the winner.
Well, Christian, we might have just sold the next card, man.
I
mean,
me and Alex have been talking for like what feels like 3 weeks about like, hey, ideas of different ideas, and I think this is a good idea.
I think this is a good. I feel it. You know the chills that you get when. I got chills with that.
It's right there. It's right there. If we real quick can talk like that's a cool future idea, but there is a more immediate future. I briefly, and this is a selfish plug, Brian. So I apologize for this selfish plug.
Do your thing.
I'm a little selfish that way. So in Night Deal, March 23rd, Newburn Wrestling presents We Didn't Start the Fire. You have a match What? That booster went up today. You're good. You're great at this, actually. You
That's
are
fan
defending.
pockets.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You are defending that New Breed Championship because you cut this great promo, just like the one you just cut about wanting a challenge. So our wonderful commissioner, Aloysius Skipper Jenkins III, found you a challenge, and that challenge has like some truth to it. It's the absolute truth, Alexander Moss. Give me your thoughts, just early thoughts. I know you have a process here. You're all about process. But give me your initial thoughts on this match. Just kind of give us a little look inside the mind of Alex Evans heading into March 23rd in Knightdale, North Carolina.
When I first started training at Firestar, the first show that I had gone to help out at was the Firestar Rumble, and this was in 2022. And in the main event of that show, it was Alexander Moss against the Infinite Man Tim. And I told myself, I said, no matter what it takes, no matter what I have to do, after watching that match, I said, I need to step into the ring with both of these individuals. I have to. It's just something that I need for me. It's something that will solidify in my mind and in my brain that I belong in this business. I belong in this sport. I'm meant to do great things in this business and in this sport. And a month and a half ago, I got to create with Tim. And then in a month and a half's time, I get to do the same exact thing with Alexander Moss. I've known him for 3 years. I've seen everything that he does. I know everything that he stands for. I know everything that he's about. And March 23rd is going to be something special, not just for me personally to be able to get in that ring and work and fight Alexander Moss, but it's going to be special for everyone that's going to be in that building, and it's going to be special for everyone that watches it on the internet whenever it gets put out there. I'm throwing this out there into the world right now, and with Christian and Roosevelt and Brian, you guys here, that match will be the match of the night, and it will be a match that people talk about for a very, very, very long time. There is absolutely nothing on this earth that is going to stop me from stealing the show and putting on an absolute clinic with Alexander Moss that night. He might not like the outcome. Hell, he might not even like me. And quite honest, I don't care, because I got enough friends in my life. And I don't care if you want to be my friend. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you want to, I don't care if you don't want to take me out to dinner, but I guarantee you're probably going to want to wrestle me, because I guarantee you it's going to be the fight of your life, and you will walk away a better person if you survive a match with me in the squared circle. And that's exactly what's going to happen on March 23rd.
I love it, man. I love it. Did you see how his eyes lit up a little bit, like halfway through that? Like, I love talented people being talented, man. Nothing better.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. He calls himself the absolute truth. And I'm going to show that that night that how can you call yourself the absolute truth when you just live a lie? And I will show the world that Alexander Moss is a lie on March 23rd.
Good question for you. Ever since you and Mark James have became a tag team and started doing some things, talk about his influence in everything that you do in terms of your in-ring ability.
Oh, man, you're going to kill my gimmick if you get me starting to talk about Mark. No, man. Mark and I, we're a tag team. And we wrestle everywhere together. We've been a lot of places together. But before that, like, Mark is one of my best friends in the world. I will talk to Mark every single day. It's not necessarily about wrestling. It could be about life or family or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of wrestling because we always have these ideas that we pass back and forth to each other, or what we want to do and where we want to go and where we want to take Brutality Inc. and the tag team. But for anyone who doesn't know, Mark James has been doing this for 20 plus years, and he's been doing it all over. And everyone knows who Mark James is, right? So when I first started working with him, to be able to just be on the apron and watch him work and watch the why and the when he does certain things, or the why and the when he tells me to do certain things. I had the best seat in the house for one of the greatest, influences and teachers that in minds that is out there. You know what I mean? And then forget the match. You know what I mean? Like I would sit there and learn from him just by watching him work, firsthand, ringside. But then even after, you know what I mean? It'd be like that car ride back to wherever, and literally no music, no nothing. It's just me and him talking about the match and wrestling. And Mark will tell you, Mark, you could be his best friend, you could be his worst enemy. He's not going to blow smoke, right? At Christian Roosevelt, he'll tell you exactly how it is, right? He'll tell you what he liked, why he liked it, and why you should improve on it. Or he will tell you, why the hell did you do that? Why did you do that? Why? Like, you don't have to do this. You can do this instead. But it's not just like, that sucked, don't do it again.
It's never that. It's never that.
No, it's why did you do this? Don't do that. Here's why. Do this instead. Try this instead. Work on this instead. Because at the end of the day, and Mark might not feel this way, but for me personally, I'm a direct representation of Mark James, right? Just like I feel like I'm a direct representation of Firestar Pro Wrestling and LeBron Cozone. And because how I handle myself in the ring is just as important about how you handle yourself outside of it. Because if I do something that affects me or lets me down, they might not admit it, but I'm letting them down too, right? Because their name is plastered on the back of me because they know that's Mark James's tag partner. That's the kid that, LeBron Cozone trained. So being able to have the opportunity and ability to pick Mark's brain when I have a question, or to just talk to him about thoughts and ideas, it's a blessing, man. It really is. And I will never, ever forget what Mark James has done, for me professionally in this great sport. And that's a guy that I will stay in the foxhole with 7 days a week, no matter what.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, man. What's the one of the biggest lessons that you've learned since being in the wrestling business? Now, sometimes you learn things that in wrestling or in the wrestling business that transcends and applies to other areas of your life. So what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from pro wrestling?
This is going to sound so simple, but I'll elaborate on it. The biggest lesson that I've taken away that I feel like can apply to life in general outside of professional wrestling, but started from professional wrestling, is that it doesn't matter, right? And what I mean by that is, if you go out there and, you think you have a bad match and you mess something up, or, you looked stupid doing this, or you had a botch or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, because that doesn't matter. But what you do with that and how you move forward from that, that's what matters, right? Because I could go out there and have a match, and in my mind, I could sit there and think to myself, like, shit, that stunk the house up for some reason. But for me, it's even worse because in my brain, in my mind, I'm such a perfectionist, right? So if things don't go perfectly in my mind, that's a failure, or it was, right? Then. it's a failure. And I will let that harp, and it will linger with me in my brain, in the back of my mind forever, right? And it just messes with my psyche, and it'll affect my training. It'll affect the next time I go out there. And once you start to get that deep into things, well, not only are you doing a detriment to yourself, but you're also doing a detriment to the people that you're in there trying to work with, right? Because if your mind's not into it, you are a danger, right, to yourself and to the person that you're trying to protect and make sure that they get home to their family at the end of the night. So the biggest thing that I've learned is that it doesn't matter. Shit's going to happen. Mistakes might happen. But if everyone involved can walk away safely and go home and learn from that experiment, and learn from that experience, and know what they can take away from it to try to do what they can to make sure it doesn't happen again or to improve on it, that is more important than sitting there and constantly thinking about it, because all you're going to do is put yourself into a deeper hole and a deeper hole. And eventually you're going to get yourself so deep into that hole that you're not going to be able to get yourself out of it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. You live, you learn, you improve, and you get better. And the only way you get better, truly, I feel, is that if you make mistakes, right? Because you make a mistake, you change it. People are like, oh, you make a mistake, you can make a mistake multiple times. For me, no, that's a habit, right? That's habitual behavior. That's a habit. You learn from a mistake so that you don't make it again, or you can do everything in your power to make sure it doesn't happen again. So to surmise that, it doesn't matter. You live, you learn, and you grow. Don't harp, don't dwell, because no one benefits from that, especially yourself.
I like that. You on mute, Brian?
Yeah. How did your family feel about you being a professional wrestler?
Talk about your little guy, Alex.
No, man, you can't make me talk about it. I'm just gonna get all sappy and shit.
We're gonna make you cry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do that to me. No, I mean, for anyone that's a parent, like once you have children or a child, like your whole world just changes, right? Nothing is about you anymore. I mean, the only thing you ever think about is your child or your children, no matter what. Were they excited that I was, getting back into it? Because when I first started, I had no family. I didn't have kids. I had nothing. Now this time around, I have a family. I have a child, and it's tough. Were they excited? No. You know what I mean? They weren't like, this is great. Like, no. But they were extremely supportive, and they knew that if I didn't do it when I wanted to, that it was just going to be something that would stick with me, that would bother me for the rest of my life. And then after having a child, there would be no way, because he's 5 right now, right? If my kid comes to me when he's 16, 17, 18 years old and says, Dad, did you live out your dreams? Because you always tell me to, go for your dreams and never stop and do what you really want to do in life. How was I going to be able to look my kid in the face and say, no, I didn't? You can't do it. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Because now I'm telling him to do something that his dad didn't even do. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't live with myself if that was the case. So, yeah, it's just they're supportive. They're awesome. He's the best. He's my best friend in the whole world. And every time I'm leaving, I call him by, and he's like, "All right, Daddy. Well, I hope you win." Well, I'm just going to train, buddy. Like, I'm not wrestling anybody. I'm just going to training. You know what I mean?
You gotta win training too, Daddy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And then every time I'm fortunate enough to bring home a championship belt, he calls them their trophies, right? So they don't stay in my room. They don't stay in the theater room. He takes them and will bring them, and they live in his room. You know what I mean? Those are his trophies. And then it's like, well, Daddy, you need to get a green one or a red one. I'm like, brother, hold up, man. Like, give me
Stop pressure, son.
yeah, give me a second. Let me recover from what just happened. I'll work on getting you a different colored one. But until then, just enjoy this one for the time being. But they're great, man. They're an awesome support system. It's tough being away from them. You know what I mean? As often sometimes as you do. And I know I've seen Roosevelt on shows, and it's awesome that his son is there with him, and he gets to watch his son, his dad, and that's awesome. Owen's not quite there yet. I don't think he'd be able to handle it quite yet. I mean, he's 5, but I think this year is the year. He keeps asking, and he has no problem watching it on YouTube or watching on TV or watching my matches on there. So I think this year might be the year where he gets to finally make some rounds and come to some towns and see Dad wrestle. So that's going to be pretty cool and special.
Now, if he came to you at like 16, 17 and say, hey, Dad, I want to train to become a professional wrestler, would you want him to become a wrestler?
Absolutely. Yeah, because, again, if that's his dream, right, and that's his passion, and that's what's going to make him happy for the rest of his life, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, in light of certain things that have happened just like around this world recently, we only get one go around with this thing. You know what I mean? Like, we get one life. That's it. And I think it'd be a real shitty life to sit there when you're 60 years old and sit there and say, oh, man, if I had just done it, if I had just done this, or if I could go back and do this. Like, I can't tell you how many people, I mean, my own parents alone, I've sat there and be like, Alex, I wish I could go back and I could have done this differently, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. To me, that's not a healthy life to live, right? It's not, just this wondering and this I wish or what ifs. Like, that's not life. That's not enjoyable. Life's about you taking the chances and you putting the work in. And if you have a dream and if you have a goal, you literally have to do whatever it takes to try to achieve that. That's living. You know what I mean? Because once you get to that goal, after all the work and after all the trials and tribulations, like, you can't tell me there's a better feeling than that, because there's not. When you are able to accomplish a goal that you've set forth for you, that you've always dreamed of doing, and then you do it, and it becomes an accomplishment instead of a dream, there's no better thing in the world other than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that you embody what being a champion is. You know what I'm saying? I can see it all over you. But what does it mean to you? And right now you're the new breed champion, correct?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be a champion?
To me, it says a lot, man. It says a lot. That is someone putting their trust in you, right? That's a promoter. That's a promotion that puts their trust in you to be able to be a flag bearer for their company and to be a direct representation of that company is and what they stand for and what they're all about. So, for Christian, with New Breed and with Mark and I at UPW being the tag champs, like, that's saying, like, hey, I believe in you guys. I trust you guys to take this promotion, take this company, and make it better. I feel like anytime you become a champion, it's because somebody thinks you can better the company, and somebody thinks you can make the company as a whole better. So it's a lot of pressure, but why does LeBron James play basketball? Why did Derek Jeter play baseball? Why did John Elway and Tom Brady play football? They want to be champions, right? Being a champion means you're one of the absolute best at what you do. And it means that other people think that you are one of the best at what you do. So you have to take that as a badge of honor, man, and be very prideful. And I'm a firm believer. Like, I always feel like anytime there's a promotion or a wrestling show, like, why are your champions not all on that show? You know what I mean? I feel like a champion should be on every single show that a promotion has, because otherwise, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, you're a direct representation of that company. You're a champion. Why aren't you wrestling? Why aren't you putting butts in the seats? There's a reason why you have that belt, and it doesn't belong in a closet in your room. It belongs out there for everyone to see it, and it belongs out there for people to see it being defended. So, to me, it's an extreme sign of trust, but also respect, and I feel like that needs to be reciprocated too, because you're trusting me to be your champion. Well, I'm going to respect you enough that you trust me to be your champion, that every time I'm on your show, you are going to get 150% of Alex Evans. And those people in that crowd are going to get 150% of Alex Evans, because they deserve it. I don't deserve to be a champion. You earn it, right? You know what I mean? Like, no one just hands you. It's like, hey, can you do something with this? No, it's not how it works. I wish it was, but it's not how it works. And I'm a firm believer that individuals make the championships. Championships don't make the individuals, right? So it's your responsibility to elevate that championship. It's your responsibility to elevate the promotion that you are a champion for. Because then when someone dethrones you, well, now it's their turn. They got to prove it. You know what I'm saying? But you have to make that mean something. And I feel like that lacks a lot in the business as it is. Like, certain things are just there, right? They don't necessarily mean anything. And I think it's time to get back to championships and things like that actually meaning something, and not just being like, oh, well, here you go, he's hurt, you take over. No, it's not how it works.
Oh, man. Well, look, man, you got a big target on your back, man, right now, because you are you are a champion right now for Newborn Wrestling, man. What do you have to say to all of those who want to take your crown?
I fucking dare you. No, I'm kidding. I welcome it, man. I love it. I love it. Like, Roosevelt's not the only one. You know, I love to fight, man. I welcome every and any contention, any fight. I live for that, right? I live for the competition. I want it. I don't want just someone to come off the street. I want the absolute best. I want them to try and come and take it from me, because it's just going to bring out the best in me. And every single time that happens, it's just going to make me better. So I love it. I will put my own bullseye on my own back and welcome it all.
You heard that? All newcomers, come and get some if you want some.
Do me the favor, please.
It's about to get brutal in this bitch.
That's right.
That's the guy.
Hey, Christian, Ray, man, you got to put that on the shirt. It's about to get brutal in this bitch. Yeah, good. I like that.
We'll get our good friends at Bad Pants Media to draw something up for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I see you got a Ric Flair hoodie on, man. Were you a Ric Flair fan growing up?
Oh, of course, man. Of course, yeah. I was big into, man, like, my Mount Rushmore, if we're gonna go there, of
we're going there. I was gonna lead into that, but you already picked my mind. We here. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, you can't talk about professional wrestling, I feel like, without talking about, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this might be shunned upon, but even like a Triple H, right? Like,
Alex loves his Triple H.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Triple H should be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the Undertaker, right? Like, yeah. I feel like you could walk up to, anybody, like, you could walk up to someone at the grocery store, right, and be like, "Hey, do you know who the Undertaker is?" And I bet you probably 9 times out of 10 they'd be like, oh, that's that WWF guy, right? Yes, it's that one, right? Like yes, it's them. I feel like they know those names, even like Ric Flair and stuff like that. They did what they did so well for so long, and they were able to change and adapt for the most part. They were able to change and adapt so well with the times and still be masters of their craft, right? And still be at that upper echelon of talent. But yeah, those were that's who's on my Mount Rushmore. Those were, all of them were just huge influences for me.
Absolutely. Who, if you had to pattern your style after a legend, whose style would you pattern your? What character would you pattern your style after?
I would say like if Bret Hart and Triple H had a baby, I would pop Alex Evans. And I've heard it even from you don't think about it when you're doing it, right? Because it's just you. It's how you work. It's how you operate. But then when people start to tell you like, man, you're just like this, or you're a mix of that and this, and blah blah blah. Like, I feel like I'm like low key under the radar, very technical, and like a technician in there. But I also will try to take your head off at the same time. So I'll be able to pick you apart, and then after I'm done picking you apart and you're just wide open, I'm swinging for the fences, and it's gonna be a grand slam type deal. You know what I mean? So I would say that if Bret Hart and Triple H had a baby, they would produce Alex Evans.
My what just crossed my brain, I was like, oh, this might actually be a good fit. I don't know if y'all paid much attention to TNA in like 2011, 2012. Alex reminds me of a lot of the on top Bobby Roode, like the whole It Factor deal, when he was just like this technical dude, such the strong promo and such the striker, like that, just kind of where my brain goes, at least. Watching way too many Alex Evans matches, especially when you have to edit them 10,000 times.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Christian. He's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me in like a week. If I see this guy on my TV or my computer anymore, I'm gonna be done. No, but like I feel like if you could be well-rounded in the ring, but be dominant in certain areas, like I feel like Roosevelt's the same way, man. Like Roosevelt is such a well-rounded performer. Like he will pick you apart with his strikes. He will submit you on the ground like that. And it's just like you don't know which way he's going to come from, so you have to be prepared for it all type thing. And those are the type of guys that I want to work with. Those are the type of guys I want to fight. Those are the type of guys I want to wrestle, is these guys that are going to make me prepare and get so good, because you have to be able to get into the ring with them. Otherwise, it's going to be over before it starts type thing.
Man, don't pump his head up. It can't fit on the damn screen.
Listen, I don't know how many more hints I can give you, brother. But
I'm so hard-headed, man. I mean, a few more would be fine.
I'm trying to make your job easier, brother. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it should happen, but it should happen.
I'm definitely not saying that maybe we should think about
Maybe we should think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll have to talk to my good friend Alois, just Skipper Jenkins III about that one.
Maybe we can squeeze something in. You know?
Yeah. That, I mean, he doesn't like you a whole lot, so like, it might take some convincing. But
okay.
We'll see.
What I used to say is, if you don't like me, you don't like yourself. So, you know what I'm saying? They can go the same thing for Alex Evans.
I like to say, too, is that if you don't have enough haters, you're not doing your job right either. So
there you go. Yeah. Haters make you greater. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that. Hey, man, what's next for Alex Evans, man? Like, where do you see yourself within the next 10 years? And if you had to pick a company to get signed by on a major level, what locker room do you think would be the best fit for Alex Evans?
Man, I recently had a very awesome opportunity, and I was very privileged to get a chance to work with TNA back in November. And man, that locker room and just the people that work there, and the way that I saw things getting done, and just the way they run things, I would love to get a chance to do some more work with TNA. And we've chatted and we've talked, and there may be some things on the horizon. Hopefully, knock on wood. But yeah, it's just, I always tell this story. I was just talking to someone about this the other day, where in 2022 and 2023, everyone said it's just a dream, right? It's a pipe dream. Don't even bother. I spent all of 2024 suspending people's disbelief. And in 2025, my goal is to just plant my flag on the indie scene as one of the absolute best independent wrestlers out there. And whatever happens, happens, man. Whatever doors open, I'm going to walk right through them or kick them open and take advantage of every opportunity that's given to me.
I think you're on the way, man, because I see your face everywhere.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like everywhere. It's like when you talking in your house and saying, "Hey, man, maybe I need to get some butter for the groceries tomorrow." And Alexa hear you, and then next thing you know, you seeing all these butter commercials on your Instagram,
Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Yeah, man. Big Brother's
That's
watching,
how it is with
man.
Alex Evans, man. You're everywhere.
Big Brother listens to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you are everywhere, man. And I see your face on a lot of flyers, and just by speaking with you, man, I could definitely see why. You're very professional, you're very technical, you're great in that ring, man, and you have a strong presence about you. And so I know that you're going to do some great things in your future, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. And if I can just keep stepping into the ring with these great workers like Roosevelt, Christian, sky's the limit, right? You never know. And I feel very blessed. I'm very fortunate to have the support system that I've had, and the people I've been able to work with, and the people I've been able to be on this journey with, like Mark and Christian and LeBron. I owe them all a lot. I've said it before. I don't feel like I deserve half the shit that I've been able to do in the last year or two, but I am extremely grateful. And I'm just going to keep doing it until the wheels fall off, man. And I just hope everyone enjoys the ride.
Well, I for one will say that you are very, very deserving. I've been sitting back and watch you for a very long time, and there's a lot of guys that I sit back and I watch and I don't say anything until when it's necessary to say, "Hey, I got this opportunity. Here you go for it." You know what I'm saying? Because I know that you will actually take advantage of the opportunity that's being given to you. There's a lot of guys when I first started early on, like, "Yo, I got this opportunity. You down?" And they say they would be down, and they really wasn't down.
Yeah.
You are not one of those guys. You're one of those guys. I say, "Yo, I got an opportunity. You up for it?" And not only will you say that you're up for it, but you follow up with me every single day, which is great. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Because, so many things is going on in your life every single day where you may be going on this way, you may be going that way, and things get lost in the shuffle. So I'm very, very proud of you. I can't wait, Christian, to get in the ring with you. And I can't wait to see everything that's coming for you. That is very much yours. It belongs to Alex Evans. It does not belong to anybody else. It is sitting there waiting for you to come get it, and I can't wait for you to go get it, brother.
That means a lot coming from you. I sincerely appreciate that. And again, that means a lot coming from you. So thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, man. Listen, we do this thing at the end of every show where we like to give a word of motivation, a word of advice, something that comes from your soul or something that's just on your mind. We call this final word. So Alex Evans, I know you have been dropping jewels this whole entire podcast, but do you have a final word for your beautiful subjects?
Yeah, man, it's don't stop. We only get we get one shot at this thing called life, and the biggest thing wrong that you could do is live a life of what if. You don't want to do that, because I did that for a long time, and it's not a good place to be in mentally. It's not a good place to try to grow out of either. So, you know, again, you get one go at this thing called life, and you don't know, tomorrow's not promised. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. The present and today's a gift. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of every opportunity that you are fortunate enough and able to try to capitalize on. And don't try to get in my way of me achieving my goals and dreams, because it's not going to wind up well for you.
That's the first time I've ever heard one of those turn into a threat.
It's not a threat. Oh, that's a promise. I'll throw it out there right now.
Let me know.
That's probably going to be on the back of
Follow
the
your
t-shirt
dreams, unless
by
your dream
tomorrow.
is in the way of my dream. Then I'm running you over because I drive alone.
Exactly.
Oh man, that was a great final word.
Thank you.
From the king of brutality.
That's Mark, man. I'm the prince. He's the king.
Oh man, there you go. Hey, listen, Christian Rainey, the Rain Man. Do you have a final word for the beautiful people?
Oh, just stay on that grind. Like, it's that thing that when you're trying to build anything significant or achieve any goal or get any job or whatever it is your passion is or your drive is, like, you just got to keep on going. Like, and I feel like I say a version of this every time, but like, you just got to keep on pushing, keep on doing your thing. Whether you're trying to work out like an absolute maniac like Roosevelt over there, he's in there every day. Whether you're trying to create ridiculous content every single day, like Brian, you got to do it every single day. Whether you want to drive by yourself every single day, you got to work at it every single day, Alex. Sidebar, I want y'all to understand, Alex doesn't let people ride with him. He'll claim that's not true, but that invite, it's never come. We live like 20 minutes away from each other. We go to the same shows. It's fine. It's fine. But you got to stay on that grind. If you're going to ride alone, drive alone, you got to keep on doing it every single time.
Stick to it.
You got to stick to it. And that's my biggest thing is like, you got to keep like whatever you're going to do, be consistent and keep on driving at it.
Absolutely. That is a final word from the Rain Man, Christian Rainey.
What about no final words from you and Roosevelt?
Yeah, we go on that. Roosevelt, do you have a final word for the beautiful people?
Absolutely. My final word is know where you are and know who's there with you. And the reason why I say that, like, I talk about this all the time. Me and my son, we exchange little notes to each other at the end of the night before he goes to bed. And the other night, he sent me a message before I gave him send mine. He sent me a message and he said, "Daddy, you are the one," with the finger in the air. And he said, "It's not on you, it's in you. Don't you ever let somebody bring you down. If someone tries to bring you down, let me know, because you are special, just like me."
How old is your son?
Oh, he's not. He's not.
A 9-year-old said that.
9-year-old said that. And it made me sit back and do the Will Smith Pursuit of Happiness, one tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got the job type thing.
Yeah.
And I told his mom I was going to beat him up as soon as I saw him, because we don't do all that sentimental. But you have to understand that where you are and who's there with you, so that way it gives you that fire to keep going and pushing a little bit harder. And for him to reach out to me like that, just out of nowhere, it makes everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm going through, and everything that I'm getting ready to do that much more special, especially when it comes from your child. So know who you are and know who's there with you. That's the final word from the guy who likes to fight, Roosevelt, right here on the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast.
Oh man, you heard it. That was a great final word from the one and only Roosevelt. And you know what? I guess I'm gonna have to echo the same that you guys are saying, man. My final word for the beautiful people is commitment is key. Commitment is key. In the place where motivation is lacking, commitment is key. When you lack consistency, you still have to remain committed to your goals. So commitment is key. Commitment is the key to your success. If you are committed, then you can build a section around what you want to do. You can manifest anything that you want because you are putting all of your thoughts and your actions and your emotions into whatever you're trying to create. So no matter if you have a business, no matter if you're starting a new side hustle, no matter if you're trying to do something to, work on your health or whatever, you need that commitment to yourself. You have to keep the commitments to your commitments. If that makes sense.
That's strong stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commit to commitment.
You have to commit to your commitments. You know what I'm saying? So commitment is the key to success. Commitment is the key to changing your life. And commitment is the thing that we all need to be able to be better people in this life. That is a final word from your boy, Brian Renegade.
Commitment is what's going to get this Alex Evans Roosevelt match booked, right, Christian?
Yeah, commitment, guys. Nothing but commitment. I love a good bit, and you're committing to the bit.
I'm committed to seeing some ass whoopings. So let's make this thing happen, Jack.
Amen.
Oh man. Hey, listen. Alex, man, this has been a great interview, my brother. We got to have you back on here, man. You are now a member of the Best Damn Crew.
I appreciate it.
Listen, I have to have you help me in the show. Okay. So I'm gonna say we will see you next week on the next best. And I want you to say damn. That's the only thing you have to do. Just one word. Just
He's
say
a
damn.
good Christian boy.
We'll make sure your pastor and your kids ain't around to hear it. Okay.
Oh, you just need me to say damn?
That's it. Just the word damn. But I need you to say it in a brutal fashion. I need you to say it like only Alex Evans can say it.
With some conviction.
With some conviction. Say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying?
When do I have to say it?
When I point to you, sir.
You got it. Done.
All right. Let's do it. Beautiful people, Best Damn Nation. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week on the next Best
Damn
Wrestling Podcast. You heard it. Yeah. Your boy Alex Evans, man. Thank you for joining us, man. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I'm excited to see what you do. Break some limbs, you know what I'm saying? Mangle some body parts, you know what I'm saying? Brutalize somebody in an inhumane fashion.
That's the plan. Thank you guys very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Keep doing your thing. I thoroughly enjoyed this time with y'all, and thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. One time, real quick, just plug the match.
Yes. March 23rd, Sunday, Knightdale, North Carolina. Alex Evans, The Absolute Lie, Alexander Moss. It's going to be a barn burner.
Oh, man. It's going to be a barn burner. I'm excited. I'm excited. Hey, listen, beautiful people, we can't hold you no longer. If you want to check us out on all our platforms, Instagram, Snapchat, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check out the boys at the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast, and you can listen to us whenever you want to in your leisure. Shout out to the truckers, you know what I'm saying? Hand. That was a horrible hunk.
Hand, indeed.
Hand. Yeah, shout out to the truckers, man. Listen, we can't hold you no longer. We love you like play cousins. Beautiful people, we bid you adieu.